birthday for our Deputy Speaker. We wish him a happy birthday. We don't sing in the House. Honorable members, however, I emphasize government is duty-bound to prioritize sectors that are very important to it, and this is sports inclusive. And planning and budgeting for this sector is very crucial. Government should also be open with the legislature as far as the revenue challenges are. Yesterday we said let's be open to each other. If we don't have money, we don't. I like the way she comes out, she says there is no money, and that is that. We will know that there is no money. And we will always get an alternative to it. And then the beneficiaries should also be communicated to. And there must be transparency. In case there is anything little that is being given out, there must be transparency in the institutions that are giving the money. So we need to find out what is happening. And kindly, Honorable Minister, can you make your presentation? We'll hear from the Minister of Finance, Mama Mane, and then we'll also hear from the Minister of Sports. Yes, procedure matter.
Madam Speaker, our rules require ministers to attend Parliament. I have noticed that the senior ministers, the one of Internal Affairs, General Tafire, is never here. He has abandoned the Parliament to his junior minister. The one of Education, she has never been here. The one of Finance, these days has learned bad manners. The one of Health, I see the Honorable Mohanga these days more. So the procedure issue I am raising, and I am sorry if I was not around, Madam Speaker, when you allowed the ministers to begin sending their juniors, because maybe they think Parliament is junior work. That's the procedure issue I am raising, whether senior ministers, because the Prime Minister, your supervisor, the whole supervisor is here. And then the other ministers he's supposed to be supervising are not here.
Honorable Semuju Ibrahim. One, nobody is junior. These people represent constituencies. And they were given more powers to be ministers. They are all ministers. Whether you are in the cabinet or they are ministers. And secondly, I am the one. Secondly, we allowed members to be on Zoom. If you don't mind, you can come and see. The First Lady is on Zoom here. I'm watching her. And just that there is nothing she's contributing, but she's on Zoom. Come and see. General Tafire is online. Now, when you now if you are not a Hajj enough, come. Because a Hajj is not supposed to move near a woman. Honorable members, the members are watching on. Honorable members, the members are watching on Zoom. The members are online. There is no. All these are very senior ministers, very senior. You have seen. And that's why I like Honorable Sumani. For him, he is always truthful. Honorable, haven't you seen? You go and say it. Honorable members, the members are watching they're online, and these people are not junior, as you say. They have more, some of them are even more experienced than all of us. And the parliament that I lead is not junior. This parliament is the only parliament that can make a decision whether you want it or not. And it will be followed to the letter. It is the only institution that makes decisions for this country. So we are not junior. So can we have the minister?
Madam Speaker, I am sorry. I get this information from their vehicles. You see a vehicle where there is cabinet minister and another one minister of state. They even label themselves, this is senior, this is junior. But I'm really sorry if I have offended anyone.
You know, if you don't, Honorable, but you see, if you don't hear Honorable Ssemujju talk, then the house is boring.
Madam Speaker, with due respect to my good friend, I have been here with him for, we are now going to make 15 years. Honorable Ssemujju, you joined Parliament. Madam Speaker, I am privileged that I have joined cabinet before it comes to government. So for that matter, I have more experience now in the matters of government than Honorable Ssemujju. Is it in order to begin imputing that my being in cabinet and my being here, first of all as a minister, number two, representing my senior minister, yes, because by appointment, there's a cabinet minister and there's a minister of state. Is it in order to begin to impute that? Madam Speaker, I need to be protected.
Honorable members, I had already made a ruling.
Madam
The
Speaker,
the first lady is online.
Madam Speaker, while she's online, I am here to answer any other matter which comes for the sector. Is Honorable Ssemujju in order to impute that our being here as junior ministers don't qualify us to be ministers? Is it in order?
Honorable members, you're wasting a lot of your time on discussing what is junior, what is... Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister Anita Kajik.
Thank you very, very much. Right Honorable Speaker, for that introduction. My name is Anita Evelyn Kajik. Ssemujju knows that I'm senior. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to respond to your call for us to give a statement, but I want to start by thanking you very much for the meeting you convened this morning to reconcile our figures. And indeed, when you chaired the House yesterday, we had variations in our figures. The figure that Honorable Minister of State for Sports presented was varying from the figure that I did present, and also the figure that was presented by the President of FUFA Federation, Honorable Magogo. Right Honorable, that said, allow me first put the record correct by requesting you that the figure that I did present yesterday 9th on the statement on the status of the release of budget for the sports subsector for the financial year 2022-2023, which was totaling to 19.23 billion, be expunged so that I can present the correct reconciled figure.
Clerk.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. As we do that,
Madam Speaker, this is a house
She's saying that because the figure was wrong.
No, this is a house of record, and when records are captured, the ministers do not have the liberty to come here and say just expunge it. They must be held responsible for submission. Yesterday I told them here to read before they come and present here, and that procedure is alien to this house. Otherwise, we would all be coming back here every day and say, expunge, expunge.
Proceed.
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for that ruling. Allow me proceed. Right Honorable Speaker, the statement I'm reading is on the status of release of the budget for the sports subsector for the financial year 2022-2023. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, my statement presented at the 5th sitting of the second meeting of the second session of the 11th Parliament of Uganda, 9th November 2022, it was guided that as a special meeting be held between the Minister of State for Education and Sports, National Council of Sports, and the Ministry of Finance to further discuss issues under the sports subsector. A detailed explanation on the budget regarding the allocation to the sports subsector, which is under National Council of Sports, is as below. Approved budget for the financial year 2022-2023. The total approved budget for the financial year 2022-2023 for National Council of Sports is 47.81 billion. The details is as follows. For wage, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, it is 1.61 billion. Gratuity, it is 0.42 billion. Non-wage recurrent is 7.75 billion. Non-wage subvention is 38.03 billion. The total budget, therefore, is 47.81 billion. Non-wage subvention are the funds transferred to to support the different sports federations. The above budget estimates for the financial year 2022-2023 as appropriated by Parliament are attached in as annex. 1, Right Honourable Speaker, just for the honourable colleagues, it is actually uploaded on our Hansards. Budget release under the National Council of Sports at half year of financial year 2022-2023 has so far, this financial year, Ministry of Finance has so far released a total of 17.61 billion.
What is the problem?
Honorable Samuju might be malicing me.
Honorable members, make sure all your mics are off. Make sure your mics are off.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Just for the record, that the figure I presented yesterday, which was been expunged, now the correct figure is 70.
It has not.
Okay, which I requested. That now I want to state the correct figure, Right Honourable Speaker.
Yes, now state the correct figure.
It is 17.61 billion that we have released today, sports subsector.
Yes.
Right Honourable Speaker, the wage and support that various sports federations, to the various sports federations, this represents 36.84% of the approved budget. The table below summarizes the performance by budget category. Performance, subvention recurrent is performing at 35.44%. Current contract staff salaries is at 50.01%. Gratuity expenses is at 66.52%. Non-wage recurrent is at 39.36%. Our performance is at 36.84%. 0.84%, which is below the 50% performance. The above table of the 38.03 billion approved under the subvention recurrent category is 13.48 billion has been released, representing a 35.44 performance, which I just stated that is below the 50% required performance. Notwithstanding the above, my ministry held a meeting with the sports subsector on the 12th October 2022 and subsequently requested the Accounting Officer, National Council of Sports, to submit the following information to ascertain the extent of financial pressure to trigger subsequent releases. Right Honorable Speaker, addition to this meeting, you held a meeting with us this morning. We did request them to give us the payroll of all the relevant federations to ascertain the exact wage bill, contracts of all the staff that are employed by the federation, tenancy agreement for the federation that are renting, receipts for the expense spent on utilities, calendar for all the international and domestic events for the financial year 2022-2023, audited books of accounts from the federations. The Council has to date not provided this information, and my colleague Honorable Peter Guang did commit that he will provide this information to us. Right Honorable Speaker, as I draw closer to concluding this submission, allow me state the following: that with the meeting you held, the meeting that you chaired this morning, we did ascertain that the money released to the Federation is 6.3 billion. And I thought that it is very important that we capture that, and this is away from the 7.1 that was appropriated by Parliament for Commonwealth. Right Honorable Speaker, allow me to confirm that...
That is what percentage out of the 38?
Then that will take us to 40%.
No. 6 billion percent of 35. Accountants help from yes.
Right Honorable Speaker, who is this accountant, Honorable Bahati? As they do compute that, I must admit that my competence is in resource mobilization.
No, I know she's not on expenditure, she's on mobilization. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
The colleague is asking which resources are you mobilizing. You always see me with investors, that is resource mobilization. Right Honorable Speaker, as we get that percentage, my ministry is fully committed to meeting the required financing needs of the sports subsector within the available cash flows to support and facilitate our gallant sportsmen and women. I also would wish to take this opportunity to congratulate our netball national team, the She Cranes, for the impressive performance in New Zealand during the recent First 5 World Series, defeating the world number 1, the Australians, was extraordinary. Indeed, after I was a Ugandan and I'm seated in this house, I'll be clapping my hands. We are indeed very proud of them, and the Ministry of Finance shall continue to support them through timely releases of the funds and cash flows. Right Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, you did indeed observe variation in figures, and we've tried to reconcile, and this is the submission I beg to make. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Anite. Honorable Guang, do you have what to say?
Madam Speaker, I would like to thank you for chairing the meeting, and I would like to thank honorable colleagues for the support they extend to the sports subsector. Like you've always said, sports does not know religion, political party, is for all women and men of this country. All I want to call upon us is to continue to invest in the sports subsector. This will help us to make our country proud. I congratulate the She Cranes. I congratulate the Uganda Athletics Federation specifically. I just returned from Thailand, where Uganda participated in the World Mountain Run. Out of 14 countries, which represented various countries, Uganda emerged the first. It won 4 gold medals, it won 3 silver medals, and it also had 3 bronze medals. So I congratulate the gallant sons and daughters of Uganda. Last but not least, Right Honourable Speaker, is to call upon Parliament to support my quest for us to improve on our infrastructure development. Because if we want more talents, let's put more money to develop infrastructure. I thank you so much, and I welcome the directive which you gave today in line with my sector. I want to say I am now making 3 months old in the ministry, specifically the sports subsector. There are a lot of changes which I pledge to make in the sports subsector, and I know it might not go on well with some other people, and I want to call upon you to stand with me, because in each and every part of our country we have a few good people and many bad people. So allow us clean up the bad people within the sports subsector to make us have more medals and to make Uganda's flag fly high. I thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Peter Ogwang of Ngariam, the Minister.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. My brother, the Honourable Peter Ogwang, knows so well how all of us are invested in supporting sports. And it's no brainer as Parliament trying to argue about the need. Even the fact that we are a population with a very huge young population, and therefore sports is a very potent investment. But Right Honourable Speaker, my point is that you did conduct a form of citizen arrest on the Ministry of Finance on this subject. And the matter that arose that curiosity to occasion this debate probably cuts across other sectors. And I'm here to request you to give a date on the order paper for the Minister of Finance to follow through the demand you made yesterday to present to Parliament the extent of appropriation, then the cash ceilings, and then the releases. Otherwise, what my sister, the Honourable Anita, is going through, if there was compliance, wouldn't be really the issue. So I get the sense that people at Finance are playing around with the figures to try and confuse people who are expecting monies to implement programs. And in their wisdom, they think that they are doing, they're just being magnanimous in releasing the money, but not a matter of obligation and law. So we're not talking about magnanimity, we're talking about compliance. So, Right Honourable Speaker, would you feel, if it pleases you, to give Finance timelines to come and present to Parliament? Otherwise, we are grappling in the dark, and along the way, they will come clean as to their actions. Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you so much. We had already given that order yesterday that we need a report to be presented. Maybe the only thing that we are not given was a timeline. How much time do you need to present that to us before we go into the budgeting process? Because we need to know how we have used what we provided for.
Right Honourable Speaker, my colleague Honourable Msasizi did actually commit to bring that, and I want to reinforce his position that within 3 weeks we should be able to bring that.
By the 3 weeks' time, we should be receiving the budget framework paper. So can we have that in 2 weeks' time?
Also obliged
a
to
comprehensive report.
Yes, Right Honourable Speaker, I will take that as a marching order. We'll do good to that.
Thank you. Semjo.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank you very much and thank the two ministers, but particularly, Madam Speaker, a leader of the opposition has already thanked your support to the sector. The Honorable Ogwang has issued an open invitation to Parliament to support him. Maybe the first thing that you will need to do is to look at the similar sports councils in Africa and how much money is appropriated. I think Nigeria is now near to $1 trillion shilling, and both the Honorable Evelyn, the Minister of State for Investment, and the Minister of State for Sports are celebrating that out of 47 billion shilling, this government gives to sports 47 billion shilling. Less than 140 billion shilling that you give to the president for donation when he's moving around and there are people dancing for him and he gets envelopes to give. 140 billion shilling donation. And you want Parliament to celebrate that out of 47 billion shilling. So my issue, Madam Speaker, is for the Minister of Sports in particular to help us understand whether he has inherited a shell. Because you see, when the Honorable Bakabulindi was in that ministry, he only had a commissioner for sports and a secretary. There were 3 in office. Because you said you are going to change, I don't know who you will change. There was a commissioner and a secretary plus the minister. That is all that was in that sector. One time we had an argument with the president over sports. And he tweets it casually. He said, they don't ask me these things of sports. Now I want to come and play football. And there he was in Nambole kicking the ball, and he said that is the way of supporting sports. That time I was working at Monitor. So I want to ask Madam Speaker, through you, the Minister for Sports, to tell us, because you can't invite Parliament to support nothing. What has changed in that ministry that requires support? Is it the budget? Is it the infrastructure? What? The minister, I was sympathetic to the Honorable Obua when he was there. And you see, when we speak about ministries, we mean it. If you don't know, go and ask Colonel Tom Butime when he was given a fake ministry and he declined it. So there are ministries where they just put you and you are happy. When there's actually nothing. So I don't want you to be satisfied with being a minister. Can you tell us what is it that you want us to support?
Honorable Minister.
First of all, I would like to thank my brother, Honorable Ibrahim Semujo, my friend, because we are very close, by the way, if you don't know. Two of us are very close friends, and he can confirm or deny. Madam Speaker, to begin with this question, what has changed? I'm here. I'm hardly 3-4 months old. That's the first change. Number 2, what has changed in the ministry? By that time, when the president, or when Honorable Bakabulindi was the Minister of Sports, if I'm correct, maybe the budget was even not more than 4 billion. But as of now, we are talking about 47 billion, which I really want to appreciate you, Parliament, because and government. If I don't do that, then I'll not be honest. What has changed? The Department of Physical Education and Sports has about 15 technical staffs from that time of 1 commissioner to and a secretary. So to be honest, a lot is changing. And within the sports subsector, the bill, I'm happy yesterday we were here. We were discussing about a private member's bill, which has gone to the committee. We were also discussing about us as government bringing up the bill. These are the new changes which have come in the sports subsector, which I really...
And by the way, we are giving you Tuesday to lay your bill.
I want to thank you, Madam Speaker, and I'm happy the leader of government business is here. Tuesday, I have to lay the bill here. I thank you for granting us that opportunity. But also, let's talk about the medals. Today, Uganda is able to defeat Australia. You're talking about Nigeria. What is the budget of Australia in sports? That's the #1 netball champion in the whole world. Uganda defeated Jamaica, which has been #4 in netball. What has changed? Talk about Uganda defeated South Africa. The morale.
Honorable Minister, there is an order here.
So I only want to say this, that
Honorable Minister, have been granted
your in-law
to
is...
my in-law, now when you begin hitting on the floor of Parliament, what happens now?
This is a friendly one, my brother-in-law. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Minister and the government for the little it has put into the sports sector. We were all here, Right Honorable Speaker, when the netballers were fundraising, raising funds and saying that the money we actually appropriate for FUFA is not adequate to cover their sports budget.
It is not FUFA.
No,
it is,
I mean the Sports Council. The Sports Council. And Right Honorable Speaker, when they win medals, we are here to really talk and appreciate as if we put in money. So Right Honorable Speaker, is the Minister in order to speak about the medals that are won by all these different disciplines, when actually there is minimal support extended to these sports disciplines? We were here, Right Honorable Speaker, when the netballers, they invited me actually for their fundraising. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for the support you have given to these netballers. Your own money, you have given it to them. So, Honorable Minister, we appreciate, but is he in order to claim all these efforts done by the different disciplines when actually minimum money is put into the sports sector? Thank you.
Honorable members, when I support a team, when I support a group, I support on behalf of government. I am a government person. I work for government. Even if it is from my own pocket, that is the salary I get from government. So,
Madam Speaker, can I conclude? First of all, allow me put this on record. Madam Speaker, can you protect me? Allow me put this on record. All international competitions, government foots. #1, air tickets. #2, per diems. #3, even hotels, even preparation, full board. What I'm saying here is, we need more. The little is there, but also these federations are given opportunity to fundraise. There is no law that they shouldn't get out and fundraise money on their own. That is their right, which I want to call upon us here and the private sector to come in, like Honorable Semoju said. In Nigeria, the private sector has put in more money into sports, which is not the case today with Uganda. How many national companies, multinational companies, are putting money in the sports subsector? These are issues which I want us to say, MTN, you're here. How much are you investing in the sports subsector?
yes.
Airtel, you're here. How much are you putting in the sports subsector? Coca-Cola, you're here. This is what I want to call upon Parliament and government to support. Madam Speaker,
that's why we need a law in place.
I want to say this. Special appreciation goes to you. And I want to ask Parliament to clap for you. You've been there supporting us. And we must move forward. The only way we can help our young people.
Honorable members, after hearing from the Honorable Minister of Finance and the State Minister of of Sports, who has been there for about 3 months. And we must really appreciate our sports sector has improved. It has improved. However, after hearing all the submissions from both, there are some inconsistencies between the figures of yesterday and today, of what was appropriated and what is being released. The appropriation of Parliament was reading a different figure. Finance wrote to National Council and gave different figures. For instance, I just want to give a small example. We appropriated 3 billion shillings for the Federation of Boxing as a house. But what Finance wrote to National Council of Sports was 1 billion shillings. So I am wondering which one is more superior. Is it Parliament or Finance? And during our meeting, the accounting officer said, we take only what Finance tells us to do. That was the statement from National Council of Sports. And because of this mismatch, so many MDAs, like what Lop and others have just said, so many MDAs could be having the same problem. The inconsistency is further manifested between the releases that are being communicated and what is being given to federations. If you ask what criteria is being used to give federations money, nobody will explain to you. There was a ring fencing which has not been respected. The other federations are given more money, more than what they are supposed to get within this quarter. They've been given money more than what they are supposed to get in this quarter, and there's a problem. And I asked my young brother, Peter, for the sake, for your own good, can we have an audit of this institution before you take over, so that you know what you're taking over? National Council of Sports, can we hear from you? Because you're in that meeting and you looked like you have never known what was happening.
Madam Speaker, with your guidance, I want to concur with you that if you that we can have an audit, which of course in this matter is a forensic audit for the National Council of Sports activities, that I welcome, because we all say we must be transparent in the manner we manage the public funds. These are not personal funds, these are public funds. I support it. I actually also want to inform this August House, particularly my brother Honorable Semujunganda, that each and every district of Uganda receives 40 million shillings for sports activities. I want to call upon you, including municipalities. Yes, yes. Madam Speaker, I am ready to bring on table and lay on table the money which government
Honorable
sends.
members receive information. If you didn't know, it is now time for you to go and cross-check.
Like yesterday, I was getting questions here, but I want to confirm that my district, Katakwi, got 40 million, the same as your districts. But what does that money do? It's the reason I want to call upon all of us here. I know the pressures we go through when these children of ours go into the sports season. The pressure comes on us as if there's nothing which government puts into some of these districts' activities. So interest yourselves. I have communicated to the various districts to ask them to submit their reports on what that man has done and help me to find out. So, Madam Speaker, and as far as your guidance is concerned, I welcome the decision of us having a forensic audit in the National Council of Sports so that we can ascertain the way the monies are utilized there. I thank you.
Yes, there's a procedural matter. Members, we really need to have an action taken in this institution so that we know where the money goes. And remember, there was a release of, we budgeted for 38 billion, and there's only a release of 6.3. And out of the 6.3, we don't know how it was distributed. It's like people sit in the boardroom and agree, give Anita 5, give so and so this. We need to know what is the criteria. And then from there, we shall ask Majagere to jump in when we have a report. Yes, procedure.
Honourable Speaker, listening to the debate we had yesterday and the inconsistencies that have been revealed, including the request by State Minister for Finance to have some of the figures expunged, and the fact that something does not seem to be right in as far as these federations are concerned. Yesterday, we received information that actually in the first quarter they received nothing. All federations, they received nothing. That was the information we received yesterday. But the executive was saying that they had actually given federations something. And in the actual sense, nothing was given. The inconsistencies in these figures reveal that there is something wrong in the National Council of Sports, but also there is something wrong with the Ministry of Finance. In the circumstances, Right Honourable Speaker, I want to move that this Parliament be pleased to have a select committee to thoroughly consider this matter, so that as Parliament we have an input and a contribution on this issue. And I want to move, Right Honourable Speaker, under Rule 190, that this Parliament sets a select committee to thoroughly investigate this matter. I beg to move.
Is your motion seconded? Yes, seconded. Seconded by Anifa, by Rose, by Sabacristo, by the Minister also, by Linos, by Solo. Honourable members. Honourable members.
Right Honourable Speaker.
You know why, just a minute, Prime Minister. Why Honourable Suman is moving a motion on Rule 190, you can only have a select committee that you are in control of, not having a forensic audit from people that will even give you a report in 1 year's time. We need to act before we go into the next budgeting process. I beg of you, Madam Leader of Government Business, it is in good faith. It is for us to correct ourselves.
Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, I think we need to move as a team. I want to assure you this Parliament has appropriated a lot of money. Which money goes in the ministries, which money goes to help our people in the service sector. The ministries of education, ministries of health, ministry of works, and ministries of water, they send a lot of money in our districts. I want Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues to agree with me that we have to open our eyes and have some time as leaders in our respective areas to, first of all, monitor closely. The only challenge we have been having, colleagues, I want to apologize that we have not been giving you information. And I want to, you know, my brother Semuju, I know when Nabanja is talking, you want to stand up so that people can see you. But this time, let me talk. No, allow me conclude.
Kindly let the Prime Minister finish.
I am doing this
I
in
know
good
what you're going
faith
to
for the
raise.
country. I am doing this for the good of the country. I wanted to ask the ministries that we give you information like the president directed, and you use this information for you to go in these councils and tell councillors so that they are also empowered. Give councillors, give LCC chairperson, they will help us to monitor these people. And two, we also have a role this side in our ministries. I believe you know what I'm talking about. Madam Speaker, audit, let me hear what he wants. You know you are my brother and a friend. You give me your procedure.
Honorable members, I know we have not yet finished the motion. It was seconded. I am going to name the members of the committee, but the information that the Prime Minister is giving us is very, very vital. Very vital in a way that it helps us in determining how much money was given to our districts, how much money has been received, how much has been spent, and that is where we can get these corrupt people. Is there value for money? Now, finance, therefore, can you give us information of how much money you've given to all the districts in the country so that we are able to determine what has been done and what is not done?
Right, Honorable Speaker.
Yes. He is still on the
Thank you
procedure.
very much, Madam Speaker. And I want to put it on record that if I want to be seen, I don't have to stand when the Honorable Nabanja is on the floor.
No, that was a joke.
But it is recorded by Parliament. So, and I want to say, I know if I want to be seen what I do. Madam Speaker, a motion has been moved under 190. Proceedings of this Parliament are recorded and are watched, like one other colleague said earlier, by the whole world. In the middle of a motion, you have, and maybe we didn't have enough orientation, you have a statement, because the Prime Minister's time gives the Prime Minister opportunity to give a statement or answer questions. The procedure issue I am raising is whether the Prime Minister, who has been here for fairly long, and knows the rules fairly, I think, of procedure. Is Parliament proceeding well to even confuse the technical people who are recording our minutes here, that in the middle of a motion moved under the rule, the Prime Minister is reading a statement?
Honorable members, I put a question that a select committee be put in place to investigate the operation of National Council of Sports. Those in favor send the contrary nay. The ayes have it. The Prime Minister was just making a contribution to why we should have a select committee. That's why she was talking, and it didn't distort anything. I'm still on the floor. It did not distort anything, and I want to thank you, Prime Minister, for your contribution, because it builds. And honorable members, before we get to know how the money is being used in National Council of Sports, we are not adding money. Much as you're crying for more money, we will not add you money before you check on the governance issues. I now therefore name the members of the committee. I am naming the members, then you will come.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. As a matter of procedure, for your guidance again, would it be safe for the record of this House that the Honourable Basalirwa is advised to move under 59K,
Without notice?
him not having given notice to the House, so that we can still carry the motion, but then change the record of on the Hansard?
When the Honorable Basalirwa moved the 59K, 59K was suspended and has been suspended by the Speaker for him to move on 190. Honorable members, I now therefore name the members. Honorable Mpindi Bumali will be the chair of this committee. Honorable Solomon Kayemba Solo. Honorable Isabire Idi. Honorable Donald Katarikwa. Donald. Honorable Achibu Agnes. Honorable Achibu Agnes is a woman. Honorable Kanusu Laura, we have 6 members. Give us a report. The 7th member is Honorable members, I am still in charge of this seat. Opio is independent. Honorable members, the Honorable, just a minute, you'll come in. She's also in the queue. There is Honorable Margaret Mahor, number 7. She's an independent. Honorable members,
Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you. But I also want to inform you members with powers entrusted in me by the Constitution, I will cause a forensic audit in this, in addition to what members will do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I want to beg your indulgence on 2 things. Number 1, the chairperson of the select committee you have named, in my opinion, is a president of the Uganda Paralympics. And when we talk about Uganda Paralympics, you're talking about it's within the National Council of Sports. So I would like to beg for your indulgence that since we wanted a person with disability to be among the members, maybe...
Honorable Kanusu will chair the committee, Laura, and we can replace Honorable Mpidi. We'll replace him with Solomon.
Number 2, Madam Chairperson, Madam Speaker.
Solomon Silwanyi. Honorable members,
Madam Speaker,
that is the team that I have selected. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Madam Speaker, the last one, I'd wanted to beg your indulgence. Why am I saying this? Can I request, Madam Speaker, can you protect me?
Honorable members, please. Honorable Samujo, I think you lost your place is the other side. No, you first go up. The minister is speaking, please. No, you are not a shadow.
Madam Speaker, I really want to beg.
Honorable members, listen to the minister.
I want to beg the indulgence of this House. The directive or the position you're giving that no monies should go
Not,
to National Council of Sports
no,
during this time.
no, no. That is not what I've said. I have said as Parliament, we are not going to add you money, additional money in the budget before we confirm. I have no control.
Madam Speaker, I have no say over that. I thank you. I thought maybe because now
No.
it is okay. Thank you.
When I am Honorable Minister, we want to know where the money that we gave you goes. That's why we want to confirm. And after we've done that, then we can be able to add you more money. And once we confirm that the credibility, because now there is a suspicion that maybe there is fraud and that kind of thing. Next item.
Item 6.2.
Next item.
Statement on government business for the succeeding week.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I move under Rule 28 of our Rules of Procedure that requires me, as head of government business, to make a statement in this House regarding the business of the succeeding week. I therefore submit the following business for the week of 15th to 17th November 2022. That is, we shall have a statement by ministers, that is the Minister of State Higher Education, on the fire outbreak at Salama School for the blind in Itenjeru, Kisoga Town Council, Mukono District. We shall also have a statement from the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development on the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence against women and girls. We shall also have another statement for the East African Community Affairs on the 22nd East African Community Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Community known as Juakali Naguru, and then a motion which I will move. Right Honorable Speaker, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister. Next item.
Item 7, Prime Minister's time.
Aburu, what is your problem?
Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the Parliament of Uganda is in the second year of our term. And Right Honorable Speaker, I've observed with concern the sitting space for the Minister of State with Disabilities, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, her condition cannot allow her in any way to sit on the front bench. And even when the House is fully packed, you find Honorable Minister Asamo squeezed there, Right Honorable Speaker. I would beg the Parliamentary Commission to design a special seat for Honorable Asamo and any other minister that will come in future with disability, so that, you know, they are appropriately, you know, whatever. I remember Honorable Asamo used to sit somewhere there in a special place. If it be, let her sit there and she can present as a minister from wherever she is. If not, Honorable Solomon, the Commissioner, Honorable please, as a Parliamentary Commission,
there is also for your chance.
Is it procedurally right for us to continue like this for Honorable Asamo to sit for the next another 3 years in inappropriate space? I thank you.
Actually, it is not only Honorable Asamo that has that challenge. A number of persons with a disability have that challenge, and they've raised that issue to us. Honorable Solomon, you have what to say?
Right Honorable Speaker, we have taken note as the backbench parliamentary commissioners and we are going to fast track to see that that is done because it is a very pertinent issue.
Honorable members, as the chair of the commission, next week we will sort out the issue of Honorable Samuel. I am assigning you the backbench commissioners to bring somebody to make sure that the chair is fixed, a comfortable chair. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you on behalf of Cabinet and the
And
front
maybe
bench.
to show you that we care for our persons with a disability.
Yes.
As a commission, we gave all our persons with a disability aids. They move with their aids who are paid by Parliament. Okay? Pardon?
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues.
Order.
Right Honorable Speaker, I got a question from Honorable Achon Julius Bua, Member of Parliament, Tuke East. Or Tuke, yes. In 1972, that government of Uganda awarded a house to John Akibua when he won a gold medal in Munich, Germany during the Olympic competition. That while the physical house was given, the land title was never delivered to him, and as such, his family does not have any documentary evidence for ownership of the same. His prayer is that can I clarify whether or not the title in question exists? And he also says, can I lay the same on the table and hand it over to the family of the late John Akibua to put the matter to rest? Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, my response is that the title exists. And I wish to confirm that in July 2021, under the wise leadership of the First Lady and the Minister of Education and Sports, government secured the certificate of title for the property donated to the late John Akibua in 1972. The details of the property are as follows. The district is Mengo. The county is Kibuga. The block number is 29. The plots are 1708 and 1709. And therefore, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, this land title was handed over to the administrator of the estate during the President's recognition of the Ugandan as a T in October this year at State House. The second question came from Honorable Bilaro Ephraim, Member of Parliament, Buweju West. He says that Buweju is like other districts in Uganda, is endowed with several minerals, most prominently gold, that our people have been rendered vulnerable to ill health as a result of chemicals used by commercial gold miners. It is said that these gold miners who use industrial scale methods and technology apply mercury in the running streams in order to compress the gold powder for their benefit, which mercury is known as hazardous to hazardous chemical to humans and animals and all aquatic life. Water which flows from gold mines in Injeru, Ngaju, Kagorogoro, Bihanga, Runengo, Nyakitaraka, and several other places is shared by the communities downstream to their detriment. The big commercial gold miners seem to have no regard for property rights of their natives, They enter and excavate any piece of land at will. His prayers that the ministries in charge of mineral and environment should go on ground in Buweju to assess the dangers posed by chemicals and take appropriate action. 2, the ministry in charge of licensing commercial miners should go on ground and assess and tame the impact against the population by their agents. The third one is that the Committee on Natural Resources, that is within your powers, Right Honorable, that the Committee on Natural Resources should make a visit to Buweju and assess the impact of the mining activities to the community. Right Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development has instituted policies, reviewed and enacted laws to guide the development of the sector. For instance, the recently assented to Mining and Mineral Act 2022. This will ensure sustainable socio-economic transformation of the country. The ministry is continuously engaging with all stakeholders, including ministries, departments and agencies, and local governments to ensure compliance to the Mining and Mineral Act. Dear colleagues, the ministry, together with the National Environmental Management Authority, is committed to implementation of the Minamata Convention, where Uganda is a signatory. The Convention on Machule is the most recent global agreement on environment and health adopted in 2013. One of the objectives of the Convention is to protect human health and the environment from pollutants and releases of mercury and its compounds. Government is promoting the use of environmentally friendly alternatives to mercury, such as the use of borax in processing of gold. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the law provides penalties for use of mercury and other hazardous chemicals in the mining sector. Honorable Speaker, like I said when I was starting, I request you to allow the Committee on Natural Resources to conduct an oversight visit as per the member's request. Number 3, Honorable Nanyondo Veronica, Bukoma Nsimbi District, Woman MP. He says, I rise on a matter concerning the readiness by government to implement the new lower secondary school curriculum. Recently, government through Ministry of Education and Sports and the National Curriculum Development Center introduced a new thematic-based lower secondary school curriculum that will be implemented when schools open in January. According to her, this has been an issue of debate even before Parliament, to the extent that we considered halting the implementation of the new curriculum. Questions are risen as to whether the new curriculum will deliver the investigated outcomes and overcome the challenges faced by the existing curriculum. It is also not yet clear if all stakeholders were involved in the process of developing the new curriculum are the key determinants to to its successful implementation. Her prayer. Right Honorable Prime Minister, it is vital that teachers, parents, students, and all stakeholders who together support the education sector are on the same page in regard to the new curriculum. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, my response is that the implementation of the new lower secondary curriculum started in February 2020 and is on track. The pioneers of this new lower secondary curriculum would have been in Senior 3, but due to what you all know, the COVID-19 pandemic and lockdown, they are in Senior 2. They expected to sit their first assessment by the Directorate of Industrial Training on their occupational proficiency in 2023 and Uganda Certificate of Education examinations by UNEB in 2024. A total of 6,020 government and private schools received syllabus books for the subjects offered, in addition to phototype learners' textbooks, teachers' guides, and training manual in 2019. 30,000 secondary school teachers from both private and government schools have been trained on the new lower secondary curriculum. I have provided a table with details of trainings and orientations of various stakeholders on the new lower secondary curriculum, as you can see below. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the lower secondary school curriculum is not thematic, as indicated by the Honorable Member. It is a competency-based curriculum which is outcome-based and learner-centered. The thematic curriculum is for the primary level, and this was rolled out in 2007, starting with primary 1 up to P7 in 2013. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, in the process of developing the new curriculum, consultations were carried out with a number of stakeholders. The Ministry of Education and Sports has continued to create awareness on the new lower secondary school curriculum through radios, TV talk shows, and presentations at different forums. The first question came from the Honorable Sesaga, Member of Parliament, Budadili East, that Uganda National Examination Board is withholding exam materials for all secondary schools for Uganda Certificate of Education and Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education in the forthcoming exams, demanding for certificates of clearance from Uganda National Students Association and TESMAT as contributions for their release. Uganda National Students Association and the Secondary Science and Mathematics Teachers, that is TESMAT, are demanding schools to pay all accumulated areas for these schools presumed collected from students co-funding since 2020. With COVID-19 situation, most parents were hit hard and failed to clear school fees areas, of which most schools waived them off. His prayers that the Ministry of Education and Sports prevails over UNEB to release the exam materials to schools. The second one is that UNEB be cautioned not to attach either release of materials nor results of students basing on WUNSA or SESEMAT dealings with schools. Right Honorable Speaker, my response is that Uganda Students Association, that is WUNSA, is an umbrella body for students in Uganda, both in government-aided and private post-primary institutions of learning. The students' body derives its mandate from the Education Act of 2008 that requires all schools and institutions to establish a students' association councils. Collectively, these students' councils manage and run their affairs under WUNSA Constitution. A total of 1,572 schools had been cleared by 27 September 2022. Head teachers who have challenges have also been handled differently. I want to report that there is no school that has been denied examination materials as alleged. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, secondary science and mathematics teachers, that is SESEMAT, is a program that started in 2005 between the Japanese government and the government of Uganda through Ministry of Education and Sports to improve the teachers' delivery, which would in turn lead to improvement in performance of science and mathematics education. This intervention was started in the year 2005 and underwent 3 phases, and thereafter JICA phased out. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, for sustainability of the program, that a fee of 1,000 was levied on each student. Due to non-commitment of the head teachers in remitting these funds, it was decided to tag the collection of UNEB materials to the certificates remittance of SESEMAT funds, as it was seen as the most suitable alternative to boost these collections because it targets both private and government-aided schools. Because of COVID-19, that left schools closed, and therefore no collections from students for the year 2020-2021. These years were waived off, and the collections are being demanded for those of the current years 2022 and the areas of 2019, if any. Ministry of Education is engaging all head teachers in the country. The Honorable Yonga Joseph, Member of Parliament, Hoima West, that is Hoima City, that government of Uganda has over the time prioritized education reforms as an anchor of socio-economic transformation and development, as demonstrated by various policy reforms such as Universal Primary Education, UPE of 1997, Universal Secondary Education, USE of 2007, among others. Introduction of UPE has led to increased demand for secondary education services by learners who complete P7 level. Nyarugabo Seed Secondary School, located in Nyarugabo Cell, Kiduma Ward, Busisi Division in Hoima West, started a community school in 2019. And in June 2020, Church of Uganda Bunyoro Kitara Diocese donated 6.9 acres of land to the then Hoima municipality, and the land title was transferred into the names of Hoima Municipal Council, Nyarugabo Seed Secondary School. The school has now 114 students from S1 to S4 studying from a community hall. The school was supposed to be constructed by World Bank under Uganda Secondary Education Expansion Project, and all the necessary documents were submitted, including the land title, and the council had been assured that the school was included in the year 2020-2021 budget. His prayer is that can I please update this house on the status of this project. That Honorable Speaker, my response is that government through the Ministry of Education and Sports is waiting for an objection from the World Bank before commencing the procurement process under the Uganda Secondary Expansion Project, USEP. Question number 6 is from Honorable Kabush Moses, Member of Parliament, Kyamuswa, Kalangala District. The government of Uganda obtained a loan to construct seed secondary schools in all sub-counties in the country. As a result, Nekemea Memorial Secondary School was built in Buvu Island. I think it's Buvuma. Okay, let me read it as it is. Buvu Island in Kyamuswa County in Kalangala District in the first phase under Uganda Intergovernmental Physical Transfer Program, Your Gift, and was meant to be officially opened early this year, which has not happened. And it is now third term, and there is no sign of opening the school. His prayer that can he know when Nekemea Seed Secondary School in Buvu Island in Kyamuswa County in Kalangala District will be opened, as there are no substantive head teacher staff recruited by government to run the school. Then the second one is aware that government policy does not support boarding seed secondary schools. Is there any special way Nekemea Memorial Seed Secondary School in Buvu Kalangala District can be opened as boarding seed secondary school, since it is meant to serve primary schools in Kachanga, Lulamba, Kotobo, and Bufumira, which are all in different islands. My response is the Education Service Commission, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, has finalized the recruitment of 4,805 teaching and support staff for seed secondary schools. And among these are the 126 head teachers and 156 deputy head teachers, among others. The ministry has already issued appointment letters awaiting posting instructions and deployment to the various seed secondary schools, including Nekemea. It is true that the current scope of seed secondary schools do not have boarding facilities. This is in line with the USE school policy. However, the ministry and government have noted the need to have exception for districts located in Karamoja and the islands, where operation of day schools is very challenging. Assessment is ongoing by the ministry engineers to ascertain that the cost needed to provide the above facilities are budgeted for in the medium term. Question number 7 came from Honorable Naume Kabasharira, Member of Parliament, Rushenyi County. That is in Tungamo District. The Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the member says that there is a constant outcry by trucker drivers plying the Kampala-Masaka-Mbarara route over the mismanagement of the Rukaya and Mbarara Way bridges and the alleged misconduct of the officers in charge. Trucker drivers complain of harassment and extortion by some officers in those respective way bridge stations. This unprofessional conduct of business by the officers manning those stations may cause financial loss to government, as the money extorted from the drivers does not reach public coffers. Her prayers that the relevant, number one, the relevant agencies streamline the operations of the way bridges across the country. The second one is an investigation be conducted on the 2 way bridges to establish the extent of the problem and the errant officers be prosecuted. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, Mbarara and Rukaya fixed way bridges are located along Masaka-Mbarara Road and are used to regulate the overloading of trucks for purposes of protecting the road infrastructure from premature damage. The 2 way bridges are managed by Ministry of Works and Transport through Uganda National Roads Authority, UNRA. Government is in advanced stages of installing the first phase of high-speed way-in motion system at Mbarara, Magamaga, and Ruwero. The high-speed way-in motion systems for other way bridges, including Rukaya, will be installed in the subsequent phases. These systems will allow compliant transporters to move on the road without having to stop on the way bridge. Data centralization has been done for Mbarara, Rukaya, Ruwero, Magamaga, Mubende, and Imbale way bridges. This increases visibility of weighing operations at each way station for monitoring purposes. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I would like to inform this House that the matter reported by the Honorable Member in Rushenyi is being followed, and those officers will be brought to book. Question number 8. Honorable Namanya Naboth, Member of Parliament Rubabo, that is Rukungiri District. He says that Kahenje Water Project commenced in 2015 with a projection to provide a lasting solution to water shortages in the constituencies of Rubabo, Rujumbura, Rukungiri Municipality, and the neighboring areas of Mitoma District. This project costed government 54 billion Uganda shillings, and it had been estimated to be commissioned in the year 2017. Later, an extension was made by the Ministry of Water and Environment in conjunction with the contractor to complete this project in the year 2018. The government is at the verge of losing this huge sum of money because after 7 years, the project has not been completed and commissioned, and the Rukungiri district is still facing the challenge of water shortage. His prayer that can I provide this House with the progress report and the reasons why the project has not been completed for 5 years beyond its completion date. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, my response is, it is true. The Rukungiri project, which was constructed by MS Technofab Engineering Limited, was expected to be completed by the year 2018. The contractor progressed well until the company faced legal and financial challenges in 2018 due to the death of the main stakeholder. Reorganization of the company following the demise of the principal stakeholder took some time. Work resumed seriously in 2019. However, the progress faced a setback following the outbreak of COVID-19 in 2020. During this period, importation of materials was not possible, and the movement to sites within the country was affected by the lockdown. In addition, the ministry faced cash flow constraints occasioned by the COVID-19 budget cuts. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, currently the system is undergoing test run for operations, and commissioning of the completed project is scheduled to take place by the end of the year 2022. I was told by December this year. On the issues of cracks that are said to have developed on the water treatment and collection tanks at Lirima and Nabweya graft flow schemes, a team of engineers from the Ministry of Works, from the Ministry of Water and Environment have visited the installation at the 2 water supply systems. The micro cracks occurred because of the settlement of the foundations of some of the structures at the water treatment plants, mainly on the aprons, that is veranda, due to change in soil conditions because of rains. The ministry is undertaking remedial works. Honorable Speaker, I had more questions which I will answer next week. Honorable colleagues, thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Honorable Majagere. And Leader of Government Business for the responses, timely responses. Thank you. You have something to say?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I'd like to appreciate the Right Honourable Prime Minister for filing the responses to the members' questions. And I have only a few comments to make on the responses. On the question filed by the Honourable Achon Julius relating to the gift by the past government to our athletee in 1972. Of course, the NRM government came into power 14 years after the offer was made. And it took the NRM government 35 years to effect the offer. We can say it's never late. However, for the comfort of this House and for posterity, it would be better, Right Honourable Prime Minister, when you say the land title was given to the administrator of the estate, this being the House of Parliament, it doesn't really hurt if you even declare the name on record. If the administrator is the Administrator General, then we get to know, because there is a government administrator. So this remains a bit unclear whether if the administrator is an individual, a member of the family, or a government, which is the Administrator General. So clarity helps in knowing and following up who actually is holding in trust for the family. So when communicating to Parliament, I beg that clarity does help a great deal in clearing such gaps. Secondly, on the question filed by the Honorable Mwijurche relating to pollution of community water sources and disrespect of property rights by the miners, I think part of the question required some assurance, because if there is pollution of water sources, then you are dealing with a more dicey health question. I would have expected you at least to give assurance that an inspection is on, because the answers are more futuristic than addressing an immediate community concern, Honorable Prime Minister. I want to invite you to probably engage with the member and understand the problem much better. If the question is actually immediate, probably you are dealing with a very serious health problem that requires urgent handling so far. Then 3, on the question raised by the Honorable Nanyondo Veronica on the new lower secondary curriculum. First of all, we discussed in this House of Parliament, the 10th Parliament to be particular, when this curriculum was taking off. And we warned that probably a lot more consultation would have been undertaken. But for some reason, we were in a hurry. For the record, all of us would like to have a new curriculum designed in a manner that will make our children more empowered from the lower stages of the education. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, what the Honorable Prime Minister did not inform the member who asked the question is what became of those other schools that were not involved in the orientation, because the record is 6,020 schools, government and private. The number is much bigger, and it's on record, right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, that so many teachers up to now do not understand how to implement this curriculum. It is actually causing disorientation to the learners and to the teachers. You know, a teacher becomes very frustrated if he cannot confidently deliver. And part of the challenge is that even the materials, the books that were provided, prototype books, were not enough. The private schools did not get. They have been spending a lot of money to photocopy. Some of the teachers actually are teaching by guesswork. Probably the country requires more assurance, Right Honourable Prime Minister, that over time the government must admit to the gaps and immediately come in to close them. Right Honourable Speaker, one of the challenges arising from the manner of implementing this curriculum is that the component of inspection in education has since collapsed. I do not know whether it is financing or sheer negligence. Prime Minister, if you want to sample, I want to challenge you to start from Kakumiro and go and sample private and government secondary schools. Just make out of your routine as you move. Go and find out how they are struggling to implement this curriculum. And I worry that if you don't arrest the situation much earlier, because we have at least 2 years before the first cohort is outed, we can arrest it in the middle and offer remedial intervention to both teachers, because there's no educational system better than the quality and preparedness of its teachers. So the teachers still have gaps. They need a lot of technical backstopping for them to appreciate the length and breadth of this curriculum. You see the problem. So don't feel shy, Right Honourable Prime Minister, to report the gaps. And we plan for this country together. There are problems. Inspection has serious challenges. So you may not be able, but I understand the haste with which these questions require answering. You may have to invite Parliament to join you in making the situation better. You're also aware that in the countryside there is hardly power, ICT services are not there, the teachers are supposed to offer them are non-existent. So I don't know what we are going to do, but I envisage the gaps. We need to admit to them and make things better. Second last, Right Honourable Speaker, is the question that has been raised by the Honourable Sasaga. Now, for me, the response here is more of a procedural response. Right Honourable Speaker, I don't know whether we may be compelled to require the clerk that for his question, a date for filing is put on the order paper. Because this question has been answered late by the Right Honourable Prime Minister. And it becomes a bit problematic when a question is answered late and probably some of the issues raised have been overtaken by events. This question was supposed to remedy a possibility of some students missing exams because of these possibilities, and the filing is coming in at a time probably when some of them have missed. So the filing and response to questions needs to be considered so that members get answers to their questions in earnest.
That's true.
Otherwise,
but
the whole idea...
We are also mindful that at that time we are on recess. It is good to put the time, but most of this could have come during recess.
Probably in the future, Right Honourable Speaker, the rules could be amended now that the Prime Minister has other able deputies. And the questions probably are responded to not in a persona but after consultations, that the office responds and not the individual. To allow room for the deputies to respond to questions in time, it could be good. Of course, it's very smart for the Prime Minister in person to come and really exhibit her smartness in responding to questions. While she's not around, she'll be able to seed ground for an able deputy to come and respond to members' questions, Right Honourable Speaker. But also, on the issue of UNSA, probably some members are not as actively following the UNSA matter. In our times, this was a very active students' body. Lately, it looks like an extension of some other political groups. And that is killing the motivation of students to subscribe to it. Because when these noble younger people's organizations are politicized, then the whole idea of their constitution is lost. So people with authority need to take a note of the fact that we can disorient well-intentioned programs by the manner in which we actually relate or portray them. Lastly, Right Honourable Speaker, my comment is on the question raised by the Honourable Naomi Kabasharira, Member of Parliament for Rushenyi. I appreciate the Prime Minister's response. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the first prayer needs to be given more assuring responses. First of all, streamlining is a managerial issue. I think the Prime Minister needs to assure the member that she understood the context of this question. But also, the second prayer, where the Prime Minister is assuring that the government is in advanced stages. So what is that stage? If it is procurement, procurement is multi-stage. Can we know at what stage procurement is? Government cannot be at some advanced stage. Is it high school or O-level? So I would like to invite the Prime Minister to agree that government does not communicate in generic terms. Government communicates in specific, unequivocal terms, so that people who ask questions can be able to communicate to stakeholders elsewhere, because government answers questions in a more particular way that assures the people that their concerns have been understood. Generic answering connotes politics. Some answers do not require political answering. They require technical, specific answering. Right, Honourable Speaker. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Leader of Opposition. Leader of Opposition, I happen to have gotten a copy of the 2 land titles. They were registered on 24th of June 2022 under KCCA 000-93470 0009366. I got those copies of the titles, and the owners do not want a lot of information to be given out on who is the administrator and that kind of thing. But if you want, I can give you a copy of the title. I mean, for confidentiality, really. I think that's what they preferred as a family. They didn't want the names to be showed. You never know. You will follow somebody in the night because now he has a lot of land. They have a reason to that effect. Yes, Propua.
Right Honourable Speaker, I would not want to dispute the information you have just given, but the guidance I would want to seek is that this matter of the land going to Akibua was given to him on his distinguished achievement by the government of the Republic of Uganda. It's a formal thing, and I believe having given to the family of the late Akibua, and as a citizen of this country, I think I am entitled to know whether actually the people occupying that house or the titles are being processed in the names.
They are actually not being processed. They have been processed in the family.
They have been processed in the names of the beneficiaries of
I
the
may
estate
not
of the late.
know. I may not know the beneficiary per se, but the names that are here are Obua Akibua. Bua, B-U-A, Akibua. He's a son to the late. No, Amson is just a relative. He's a nephew, but the other one is Bua. But not also that Bua of Olympics. So the names are related to the family. So we don't know whether it's a family member or a son, whichever. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you
Right
have already ruled to the extent that it would not supposed to be discussed. However, the person who raised the question can follow it up so that can find out the authenticity and the beneficiaries were supposed to own that. And in the contrary, if he finds out that it is not right, he will come back to you and the matter will be settled.
Yes.
So I think what you have ruled is already okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right Honourable Speaker, thank you. I would like to inform the House that the whole family of the late Akibua was called at State House in Entebbe, the whole family, and the land title was handed over to them, and there is no complaint, and I think the matter has been resolved without any issue. Thank you.
So is there any problem? Thank you so much, Honorable Tony, and thank you for that clarification. And let's not discuss about people's properties here. We have helped to get it. That is if we have helped, but we must thank government. We must thank government for fulfilling the pledge. I now Akelo?
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity.
Honorable Leader of Government Business, there is an issue for you here.
Yes, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity. I just have a quick question to the Prime Minister. This is in regards to an issue that you're already aware of. It is in regards to the beatification of a very great man called Venerable Giuseppe Ambrosoli, who was a father, a reverend father, and a doctor. And the Holy Father, Pope Francis, has decided that the rite of beatification of this great man be held here in Uganda, and it's going to be the first of its kind in Uganda. Now, the question I wanted to ask the Prime Minister, is it possible for this great man who has done so much, put up a hospital in Kalongo, in Agago, a leprosy center in Morolem, and so many other places, and was a professor in Mulago, is it possible for this parliament to pay tribute and honor this great man before we conclude and have the beatification done in Kalongo, which is going to be on 20th November 2021?
2022, not 2021.
I mean 2022, sorry.
I had members shout. I put a question. Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Prime Minister, you've seen how popular that is.
Yes, Right Honorable Speaker, I know how popular that is. I want to inform Parliament that the Archbishop came to my office. The Archbishop has met the President. The President directed the Ministry of Works, and I know works is ongoing in Agago. The Member of Parliament and the Minister for Economic Monitoring has been with me. I have been to Agago myself, and there is some progress, except that government money. There are those processes that have a bit delayed. But I want to promise to this House that government will honor our promise.
Honorable members, of course, one thing is there is a timeline.
Lastly,
paying tribute.
Yes. Honorable Speaker, I think we need now to move a motion. Can I move a motion?
No, without notice. Please do.
Or maybe we make it special.
Let's make it special.
Because the person we are talking, the person in question is a very big person.
Let's make it special.
Let us make a special one together with the members of Parliament. I will call them, then we agree on a date, and then I will move.
Very good. Honorable members, that does not stop us.
Right Honorable Speaker, I request that the members of Parliament come with me today, and we go and process and see where the obstacles are, so that we can
Honorable
move.
members, as very good people of Parliament of Uganda, that does not stop us even from making our personal contributions towards the cause, because it's a very important event for us as Ugandans. As we stay in the queue, as we wait for government release, we could start as members of Parliament. We are not going to say give this, but there is a blessing in giving. Obama said it all, that blessed are those who what? The hands that give. So members, let's support that initiative, and we welcome it to Uganda, and I thank all of you. Based on that, I now adjourn the House to 2 on Tuesday.
Uganda. Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
Gatawa with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial star 165 star 5 star 3 hash to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
So, I'm here to announce that the MTN Kampala Marathon is back. And this year, we are running for babies. To be clear, I am not talking about a baby. No. And neither am I talking about to be baby. I am talking about these small dollars.